Hello, Shemai. So I'm just doing a quick video on Record Store Day 2022, the 15-year anniversary, Taylor Swift as the ambassador, and what it is that I'm going to be after for this Record Store Day event, and how much the damage is going to be on my bank account come the 23rd of April. I've had a look at the UK list since. I've sent an email to my local record store. The first record that I saw that I was interested in was a Betty Harris record, and this was on a lovely green vinyl, which would really suit the what the cover design was for this record. And I was really interested in this. This is one of the ones that I decided to switch out. Only because I use a good tip for people as well in the UK is I use Rough Trade as a way to roughly estimate how much the records are going to cost, because Record Store Day don't actually have a price listing on the records when they post the list, but Rough Trade, when they post the list on their website, they'll post everything on there, and they'll usually have a price on there, and it may vary slightly. It may be a bit more, a bit less than what it will appear in your store, but it's a good way to roughly gauge how much those records are going to cost. Betty Harris was about 35 to 40 quid, and although I listened to it the night the list dropped, before I knew how much it was going to cost, and I really liked it, I don't think I'm going to be able to fork out that much money for this LP. Another one that I switched out, which I originally wanted, was the Blur. Again, I like a couple of the songs on there. It looked like a really cool pressing. I read the description for it. It seemed like a really, really good buy. It probably is, but again, 45 quid, whereas I need to start looking at things a bit more kind of like, if this was just available in a shop and it wasn't a limited edition pressing and there was loads of them, would I pick it up? Would I buy it over something else? And with these two, I don't think I would. I probably would the Betty Harris one if it was a bit cheaper than that, but you know, and the Blur one, as I said, 45 to 50 quid is probably going to be the price range for this. So yeah, I passed on those. The one that I'm adamant though I really want to try and get is, there's a Childish Gambino record. It's an EP. Don't ask me to say the name, I don't know how to say it properly. But I'm not a massive fan of Childish Gambino, but if I had to pick one project that he's done that I like, it would be this one. It's the record that I always remember from when I first started collecting back in 2015. I think this EP dropped in 2014, and it's a bit different to the stuff that he's put out since then, and I much prefer this kind of style of his. And yeah, it's a commonly bootlegged copy as well, so to own the first official pressing of it as well would be brilliant to have. And I love the cover design on it. It's really simplistic, but I really just like that color play that he has there on the cover. The next one as well is another record that's quite commonly bootlegged, and that's Future DS2, and this is on a lovely looking concept teal coloured pressing. They did a Future pressing last year as well, which is really nice. That was the red one of EVOL, I believe it is, and that was a lovely pressing, lovely sounding one. And again, you know, I've avoided getting the bootleg copies of this Future pressing, and I feel like this is the reason why. Official pressing drop, really, really nice looking colour variant. I should say the Childish Gambino one, Rough Trade are going to be selling it for about £23, so that's a steal. You pay more than that for the bootleg copies of this album now. So to get it for 23 quid, potentially, you know, 25 or 20, that's a steal as far as I'm concerned. DS2 is going to be costing around about 35 to 40, so it is one of the higher price range ones, but again, you're looking at that kind of price now for a bootleg copy of it. So, and what I love as well about Record Store Day as an event is discovering new artists, because I'll always discuss with other people in the vinyl community what they're after and just see the kind of stuff that they're interested in. And I felt a little bit guilty because I was messaging somebody about what they're going to be after this year, and they said the Maccabees. And when I googled this, I looked at the album cover for the what's dropping, and I think it's the Colour It In debut album of theirs, and I was really interested by the cover so much that I listened to the record, and I enjoyed it so much I listened to the record again almost instantly all the way through. It was a really good one. It kind of reminds me, it's indie rock. It's kind of like a cross, I would say, of Razorlight meets Bright Eyes. I've always loved Razorlight, and I've recently been really getting into Bright Eyes. So for me, I kind of was like, I'm gonna have to add this to my want list there. So that was kind of like the one I switched out for the Blur album, and it's cheaper than that one as well. So this is on Rough Trade 28, so roughly about 25 to 30. I imagine this is going to be in record stores in the UK. And it also has a really kind of cool Colour It In Yourself album cover, which, you know, that's always a bit of fun. Glass Animals are doing another press this year, and they kind of keep into the theme. So this is like what they done the one year, where it's kind of like a fruit on the one side and then a cool pattern on the other for when it's, you know, spinning. I'm not a massive fan though of picture discs, so I'm probably going to avoid this one. And I think it's also, it was like 28 quid on the Rough Trade website, which is a bit much, I think, for this record pressing. But, you know, pretty interesting, especially if you want to keep to that theme. Because I think they also did another picture disc where it was like an orange with another pattern thing on the back. So it's pretty interesting to see what they're doing there. Another one I'm interested in, and I was really excited to see this one when I saw the list, is Rizzle Kicks' Stereotypical album. I think it's their debut. It's on a really nice green color pressing, which really goes with the album cover and artwork. And yeah, at first I was worried about the cost of this one, because the description was saying something along the lines of like how much it costs now to buy new copies of it, to buy old copies of it, and I was kind of like, oh, are they kind of building up for a big price for it? But Rough Trade had it listed for only £25, so again, you know, between 23 to 28, I'm imagining this is going to be in stores, and for that price point I think it's a steal. Plus it's kind of like a vinyl I need to kind of build my soundtrack to my high school days. I remember the songs from that album just being on constantly when I was younger on the radio, so really hoping to grab a copy of that. Another one is Sandy Denny. So I didn't actually know Sandy Denny by name. I'd listened to Fairport Connection recently and really liked them. She's the singer from them, and they've got 2 records of hers dropping. So they've got an early recordings album, and they've also got her last recorded live performance as well. They've got on a pressing. She was an amazing British singer-songwriter. I've listened to some of her stuff since seeing her on the list, and it's just some beautiful folk music. Really interested in this. I'm not sure about picking it up, but I'm really happy that, you know, the album artwork kind of drew my eye, and I went away listening to it, and I've definitely come away with another artist who, you know, I can look at their discography and maybe look to pick up some of their other albums for. So, you know, I might look at it for Record Store Day, but I'm a bit on the fence about the ones they've got available for it. But yeah, we'll have to see. But overall, I'm mad happy that the list helped introduce me to her music. And when I've looked at the Sandy Denny vinyls as well on Rough Trade, again, they're around about 28 to 30 for both of them. I'd only pick up the one if I do pick up either. The other one then obviously is Taylor Swift. So she's the ambassador. She was going to have something dropping, and it looks like it's a 7-inch of Lakes. So that's a bonus track from her amazing album Folklore. I'm overall a bit disappointed, her being the ambassador and everything. I was kind of hoping for, you know, an entire album or something. You know, I think I was being a bit optimistic by hoping for like a Taylor's version 1989 drop or something like that. But it would have been amazing and people would have gone crazy for it. As it is, it does just look like it's going to be the 7-inch for the Lakes. On like an exclusive color. There's 10,000 copies of it as well, so I do think it's not going to be overall too difficult to get. So if that's, you know, the main thing you're after this year, I think you've got a pretty good chance of being able to grab a copy of it. But yeah, you know, I was kind of hoping she would do a bit more than just the 7-inch single. Rough Trade don't actually have a price for it on their website. It's currently at £0, which it's obviously not going to be. So I'm a bit unsure of what this is going to cost. It's a 7-inch single though, so I'm hoping 15 quid at the most. But I've seen, I think like the Haim 7-inch they had last year. I think they were like trying to charge 20 quid for that, which was a bit extortionate, I think, especially for just, you know, a one 7-inch single. So I'm hoping 15 quid is going to be the most on that one. They did also have a Portraits of Her, which is like a compilation album which featured Taylor Swift on there as well, which I was very interested in, but it does look like that's only going to be in the US, so, you know, not much chance really of being able to grab a copy of that here in the UK. Another few that they had on the US one that I was quite interested in was the Nicki Minaj record, which I know a lot of people in the UK are going to be a bit disappointed about not being able to grab. It was the Beam Me Up Scotty album. And another one for me personally was they had a Barry White album that had, you know, it was one of his earlier studio albums. It was on gold vinyl, had a really nice cover on it. I was really hoping to pick that up, but alas, not going to be able to. And lastly, another one I was kind of half looking at, and it's a story of last year as well. Another Wes Anderson movie, The Royal Tenenbaums, that's got a pressing. But again, like Life Aquatic last year, only in the USA, unfortunately. Let me know in the comment section what it is that you're hoping to grab for this year's drop. And yeah, I hope you get everything that you want on your list, and if you can, drop us a like, comment and subscribe. Really appreciate it. But yeah, have a good one.